we didn't get that recorded because that was really
Right?
cute. How we're like, 5,
The
4, 3,
countdown.
2.
So fun.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Cristina.
Hello to you too, Lisa. How are
Oh,
ya?
good. I'm obsessed with like this little line on my forehead here. I'm like, oh, look, there's a new line that wasn't there before. And then I'm like, oh, my eyebrows. It's this bright sunshine coming in here that you can see everything.
That's
So,
all right. Bright sunshine as we're headed into the fall season is
yes.
perfectly okay with me.
And
It's
why are
nice to have
we inside doing this instead of outside enjoying the last little bits of the
it.
sunshine?
I know,
I
but
know.
because we enjoy what we're doing and we
We
get to
do.
speak to so many great people
I
and
know.
have really fun conversations, and we get to geek out about baking.
I know. I
Not
mean,
much beats that.
not much beats that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm doing well. You? Yeah.
I'm okay.
You're
Yes,
okay. I know
I'm
it's been
okay.
a
It's
busy year.
it's just always busy, and I don't know how to slow it down. It's been actually a nice break because you and I had a few episodes recorded, so we had a bit of time. I mean, I didn't have a lot of time off from actually editing and posting everything and designing thumbnails and all those fun things that we don't really think about when
Mhm.
we're looking at listening to a podcast or watching it on YouTube. Um, so all those kind of behind the things scenes, all those behind the scenes things. Why was that hard to say? Um, have kept me very busy, but we haven't recorded in weeks. Because we had
Yeah.
so many great guests all lined up at once when we had some time off. So we're back into it, and we're gonna have a few guests over the next little bit, and we just keep plugging along.
Yeah,
I'm really
we do.
excited as to the back catalog that we are building up here. So
Same. And every time we have a new conversation or we book a new guest to come join us, it's almost like Christmas. I can't believe so many people are willing to do this craziness with us.
I know,
And
I
I
know,
couldn't be more grateful that they are so willing to do this, and they're
yeah,
so gracious with their time and their energy,
I know,
and they're sharing their journeys. I mean, that's a
yeah,
very personal thing for them, and we're so grateful for everybody who does decide to come and join us. And if
definitely,
there's anybody listening out there that really wants to be a guest on
yes,
our show, by all means, just send us
yes.
pop into our DMs,
We
and
have
we'd be happy.
one. We would be happy. We have one last winner that we have to track down because
Yes, we
we have
do.
already talked to Andre, and he will be a guest. I promise you guys, he will be a guest soon. But
Can't wait.
Sabrina, we cannot track down Sabrina. So if anybody out there can help us track her down, we really, really would like to have a sweep and have all the winners on our show.
We
But
certainly would.
Andre is going to kind of be, I think, a pretty exciting one for us and for everybody else, because it's just one of those things that everybody who has baked with him is just in awe of him. And yeah, so I keep sending him
Yep.
little messages and saying, you might want to listen to this episode and see what they said about you. He's like, okay.
Because we literally, I think Andre is part of most of our conversations,
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. And
especially with
yesterday, Chris asked me, he said, who's the best baker that you know? And I was like, oh, that's a hard question. And then I said, maybe Andre. I think Andre. And he was like, but he's not a professional. I'm like, you didn't ask me who's the best professional that you know. You asked me who's the best baker. And it just feels like this is kind of a consensus across the board that
yeah.
Andre's the tops. So
Yeah.
better
Well,
listen
even
to
when
this episode, Andre.
exactly. But even when we had our conversation with Washing Up podcast,
Yes.
Chris and Christy, I mean, we asked that question if there was a best of the best
Yes.
series, who do you think would take it? And without question, there was zero hesitation on
Yeah.
there at all. It was like Andre,
Andre's
hands
got it.
down,
Yeah.
better than anybody else out there. I
Yeah.
mean, and there are some, and that says a lot for Andre because he's just such a spectacular person, great
Yeah.
human being, a Renaissance, human at the end of the day. Like, what can he not do
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, there's so many amazing bakers out there, and so, but he just has a different level, and he's just so humble about
Yeah.
it. And I don't know
No.
that he knows
No.
how incredible he really
No,
is.
no, and I mean, we talk about imposter syndrome, and it's hard to believe that Andre would have imposter syndrome. But then again, it was hard to believe that Rafficat or Vincent or Natalia or any of the other winners or any of the other amazing bakers that we've
Yeah,
talked to can have imposter syndrome. But it's apparently a universal phenomenon because,
yeah,
so I guess Andre probably has a little bit of that as well, or maybe it's
yeah,
just he's just a genuinely, you know, nice guy and just has that humility and doesn't
yeah.
think of himself as being great.
And I think part of it is just he's just got such a passion for his craft,
More passion,
and
more passion,
more
more
passion.
energy, more energy.
I love that. I love that TikTok or Instagram
Meme.
jingle. It's
Love
so
that
much
meme.
fun.
Yeah.
It's a meme. Is that considered a meme? Is
Yes,
that
it is.
considered a meme?
That's
Okay.
what a meme is.
Yeah.
It
See,
it meme used to have a different meaning, but yeah, it's a meme.
yeah, I'm so not on,
That's
you know,
okay. I mean, I might have a bunch of Gen Z and Gen Alpha people coming at me and saying, no, that is not a meme. But it's my understanding based on what my 20
somethings.
something year old children have told me that that's a meme.
Yeah, there you go.
We are
I'm just
getting,
not with it.
I
Most
don't,
days I'm
we
not
don't
with
have
it.
to be. We don't have to be. It's fine. It's totally
Anyhow,
fine.
on that note, we have
Yeah.
gotten way off track, but what
Yeah.
have you been baking lately, Miss Lisa
I
Stewart?
baked a big chocolate sheet cake yesterday. I did half and half black cocoa and regular cocoa, and I put some rum in there. I just wanted to kind of get me with the rum, right? Just wanted to get a nice little bit of extra flavor in there. So I'm gonna cut it up into individual portions and post it for people to pick up if they're wanting to. So yeah, easy
Nice.
peasy little something, just a little treat. I haven't had much of a chance to bake lately. I did make that Winnie the Pooh baby shower cake, and
Yes,
that
so
was really
cute.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
awesome. And you
No,
can
it's
never
fun.
go wrong. Black cocoa, can that have a moment right now? Because, right?
Let's make a meme for
It's
black cocoa. Black
black
cocoa,
cocoa.
black cocoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that no. We'll find one.
Anyhow, yeah, no, I'm a huge fan, as you know, of black cocoa.
Oh, I
It's in
know.
my pantry.
You really turned me onto it. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's so good, and I love the extra richness that it adds,
Yes.
and
The
just the
depth of
color.
flavor. Yeah,
It's
and the
yeah,
color's
depth of
beautiful.
flavor and color.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
second to none.
are you okay if I ask you a different question other than what you've been baking? Or do you really want
Depends
to
on the
tell me what you've been
question.
baking?
No,
So
that's all right.
Chris said,
What's
ask
what's the question?
Cristina this question. Said, if you had a month to bake a cake,
Mhm.
what would you bake? What would it be?
Wow, a whole
Whole
month
month.
to
Yeah.
bake?
I
That
guess
is a
to
good
plan,
question.
design, and bake it.
Yeah. I
Chris
think it
is good with the
depends
question.
on okay, so it depends. I think for me, my first question would be, who am I baking it for?
Okay, good question. Chris, who's she
Right?
baking it for?
Is Chris there?
He's in the
Chris,
bedroom. I don't think he'll hear me, but
who am I baking
okay.
this cake for?
All
Because I
right,
think that would really depend.
you're baking it for today's special guest, Nikki.
Oh, Nikki. So
Nikki.
that is a really great question. We're twinsing again,
Yes.
Nikki. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Anyway, gee, I would be honored to first of all bake for Nikki. I mean, first and foremost, I think I would probably spend some time trying to understand what she loves. Like,
Yep.
what are her favorite flavors, and maybe we could ask her. If
Yep.
somebody could bake you a cake, what would it be?
Yeah, that's it. And if somebody had a full month to
To
build
bake.
and bake you a cake.
Yeah, and I think, I would probably spend a lot of the time trying to do that research, trying to find out. And I know
Mhm.
she's got a lot of like Middle Eastern influences
Yeah.
and international influences in her cooking and her
Mhm.
baking. So I'm thinking she might want to go something there.
Would you
Is
want
some
to try to attempt that? Because she probably would do a way better job of it than we would. Not, no offense.
Yeah. Oh, no, no, none taken. Totally, totally, totally hear you. Absolutely. Um, That's a good question. I think it would be a great challenge
Would
if I
be.
could bake something. Again, I would find out what she loves, right? If
Yeah,
she's a
yeah.
chocolate gal, then I would do something chocolatey for her. If she's a vanilla gal,
Mhm.
if she's like anything, everything in between. So I think I'd probably find that out and probably ask her some questions about what she likes. Like, does
Yeah.
she like what kind of buttercream does she like on her cakes? Does
That's
she
what
like
we're gonna
fondant? Does she
find
like
out when we do our
marzipan?
we're gonna do
Right?
our this or that, and we'll probably find out a
Yeah.
few of those.
I know, but that's a really great question. But I think
Mm,
when I am baking for people, that is usually my first question that I'll
yeah.
ask is,
Has to be
I mean,
individualized.
what do you like? What do you
Yeah.
like? So if I were to bake you a cake, Lisa, what
Ooh.
kind of cake would you want?
Darn it, why do I ask questions that I then am okay. Ah, I would like, um, some kind of what is it? Blank. Um, some kind of cake that has a lot of different layers. I'm learning to appreciate texture in cakes.
Mhm.
I really like a mousse cake.
Mm.
I would really like to have different types of chocolate. So, like milk chocolate, white chocolate, and dark chocolate mousses, but also some sort of crunch incorporated in there. And I would want it to have a beautiful mirror glaze.
Oh wow.
Just
Okay. So you
for,
like
make
the
me an
mirror glaze
entremet. Maybe make me an
yes,
entremet.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
like a tuxedo cake
Really love
entremet.
tuxedo cake. And you know what? Since my doggy's name is Tuxedo, why don't you make me a doggy cake entremet?
I
Are you writing this down?
I am.
Why?
Just in case I have to make you a cake one day. I
Thought
thought
this
I
was
would write
just
it down and
rhetorical.
my memory's not what it used to be. So I'm writing things down. I know that sounds really old school, but
No, it's
hey,
good. But maybe I would
guilty as
end up
charged.
changing my mind anyway because, apparently I changed my mind on things. Don't put raisins in it, though.
Are you sure? Because I know your love of raisins.
Absolutely do not put raisins in my
How,
entremet with
how about
chocolate
if I did a
mousse.
butter tart inspired cake for you?
That it's not no, thank you.
No.
I don't really like butter tarts. The one that I made was really good, but it's not my no. No, thank you. You know that I really like smooth textures and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But it's good to hear that you're open to like the extra textures, like the
I'm
crunchy
trying really
elements and that
hard.
kind of
Yep,
yeah.
yep, yeah, like a fourteen or something like that. But anyway, we
Mhm.
should move on because our
Yes,
guest is
we
probably
should.
waiting for us.
I'm
So,
sure she is.
why don't you introduce her?
Will do. We are so excited to actually welcome Nikki, and I hope I'm not, totally
Mispronouncing?
mispronouncing her last name, Behjou. She is from the UK and just a lovely, wonderful person. Cooks and bakes with so much passion. She has just released her new cookbook, Niki Bakes Kitchen, and couldn't be more happy to have a conversation with her, learn more about, you know, how did she get to this point in
Mhm.
her baking journey?
Yeah,
So, like I said, happy to have a conversation with her, learn a bit more, and kind of find out from her what she would
yeah.
want in a cake from that question you just asked me.
Yeah, it's
So,
kind of a fun
and
question.
it is. That's actually a really great
We're
question.
gonna have our new classic question to be asking every episode. The sun
Yes.
is right on me.
Wow,
Hello.
you look a little. That's more
Again.
Halloween episode. We talked about this before.
Again, it's the welcome to baking scrap. Anyway, that's creepy. I'm not creepy.
October. October's coming. Halloween season is coming.
Actually,
We
by the
just got to
time
get
we air this, no, it won't be
it'll
Halloween
probably
yet, but
not quite yet, but yeah, not quite yet, but it's Halloween season. There's so much Halloween content on
I
Instagram right now.
I can't.
I'm
Mm-mm.
all for it.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm all for
it's
it.
too early. It's too early.
At least it's not Christmas yet.
I need
I'm
that
not
for
seeing Christmas
summer. Oh
content
my gosh,
yet.
if it was Christmas, yeah, that's a point for sure.
That's
For
all. It's all over
sure.
Costco right now. So
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
yeah,
crazy.
and don't forget PSL season is upon us too.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I really want people to realize that the whole idea of pumpkin spice is not that it has pumpkin in it because
No,
everybody's like, "Did you know that pumpkin spice lattes don't actually have pumpkin in them. And I'm like, it's not about the pumpkin. So
It's
here's
spice.
my opportunity to get on my soapbox a little. It's about the spices that you put in a pumpkin pie. That's what they're talking about. We're putting the pumpkin spice in the latte instead of in the pie.
Thank
You
you,
know
Lisa,
already.
for clarifying all of that. Important public service announcement there.
Public
Um,
service announcement.
but yeah, I think a lot of people do think that there's pumpkin in pumpkin spice lattes.
Yeah.
However, I am all for pumpkin in
Oh yeah.
pumpkin spiced latte flavored desserts, cakes,
Yep.
cookies,
I love
um,
pumpkin.
maybe an entremet.
Yeah, pumpkin. But I don't think with chocolate. I don't think I want it with chocolate though.
You don't have to do an entremet with chocolate, though.
But I want the chocolate. That's what I
Well, I know
said.
you do. I'm talking about another
Oh,
entremet, not
sorry.
like
You're gonna make an
not
entree for
Lisa's
someone else.
entremet.
Fine.
Maybe.
Fine. That's fine.
I haven't made one in so long. I've only ever made one once.
Oh, yes.
That's
I've
it.
only ever made one as well.
So,
Yeah. We should probably do that
yeah.
again. It's so good to see you, Niki.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me, both of you lovely ladies.
Yay!
We are so happy.
excited to have you from across the pond, all the way in London, one of my favorite cities. And we also brought
Patrick.
Yay! Patrick of Niki Bakes Kitchen.
Oh,
This is such a great book, and it's so beautifully done, so beautifully put together too. So
Gorgeous.
very excited to have it. Not so
thank
much
you so much.
baking in there, but a lot of cooking, and I love cooking, and I'm really excited at making some of those new recipes. So
Oh, I can't
Thank
wait
you
to
so
try.
much.
They all
That means
sound
the world to me. I mean, just to hear that kind of feedback, it really does mean a lot. And the fact that you guys are going to be cooking my recipes, it's still surreal to me. 15 years on, it's still, that feeling will never go away. Never.
that's awesome.
wow. That is
Yeah.
so cool. So let's start there. Like, what drove your passion in the kitchen? Because I know you're a fabulous cook from the recipes that you've created. You're also a amazing baker. So tell us, how did you get to the kitchen?
You know, it's I'm my culture. I have Turkish heritage, and growing up, there were always an occasion to eat. Whatever the occasion was,
Yes.
there was food. Bringing people together for any excuse possible, and a lot of it came from actually my mom, because she is and was, when we were growing up, a Wonder Woman. She would work so many hours under the sun, and somehow, when we used to come home from school, she's coming from work, beautiful spread of food on the table. And I was always, from a young age, kind of interested of like, how does this dish come together? How is it that like rice or something so simple can be turned into this gorgeous jeweled pilaf, and all of these stews, and especially in Turkish cuisine, the food is very kind of has complex flavors, lots of different types of methods of cooking, and baking is just a whole new amazing world of different techniques of. So for me, it was kind of, I was very inquisitive, and it came from my mum, definitely, hands down. This book should be Moji Bakes. My mum is called Moji, not Niki Bakes. Should be Moji Bakes, because all the recipes are inspired by her, and she tested them 3 times each recipe. So it should be Moji Bakes with her photo, not me.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you do shout her out in your thank you
Yeah.
acknowledgements part. So that was very, very sweet. But yeah, food is love though, right?
Yes.
And a lot of the recipes that you have in there are so multicultural. So
Yeah.
you do have a lot of Middle Eastern flavors in there.
Mhm.
You've got some Italian, you've got some Spanish, you've got some
Yep.
Thai. Just amazing. And I am so looking forward to getting in there and trying so many of these, and just
Thank
that
you.
flavor explosion in your mouth. I can already see that that's going to be the best
Thank you
part
so
of
much.
Yeah.
making your recipes.
Yeah.
I
It's gonna
think
be
it's
great.
kind of growing up in multicultural Britain, especially in London. There's so many different cultures, and we're so lucky to have that. You walk down the street, if you fancy a Chinese, you can grab Chinese, or an Indian takeout, or an Italian. So I think the book, I was trying to represent also my upbringing and all the
Mhm.
lovely cultures I was exposed to.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to really bring that into the book. So if somebody fancied an Italian recipe, they can find it in here. Or if they fancied something kind of a bit Turkish, Middle Eastern, they can find it in here too. So
Yeah.
I can't restrict myself to one culture. I can't do it.
No,
Yeah.
it's
And
multicultural is amazing. That's
exactly. And
part of the best thing.
yeah, and why would you limit yourself if you have access to all these
Yes.
wonderful spices and food ingredients? Why would you limit yourself to like one
Yeah.
cuisine?
Hmm.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate. We're absolutely fortunate to have that, and that's something I never take for granted. I mean, from a young age, really, we were exposed to so many different cultures and foods, and I love that. But
Yeah.
I know that some parts of the world they don't have that, so I feel really grateful to be able to at least share that with the world. And
Yes.
then there's another thing about the recipes in the book is I also offer lots of alternatives because some of the ingredients could not be very easy to find for somebody in a different part of the world. So
Hmm.
I do try to offer alternatives and it doesn't change the flavor profile too much.
Yeah.
So I try to keep that in mind as well.
That's fantastic for you to incorporate that in and make sure that everybody has equal opportunities to be able to taste the flavors,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's when often when I'm making a recipe and it's got something in it that I'm like, I have never heard of this before. I'll be Googling and like alternatives for pea
Yeah.
flour, or
Yep.
that's not a real thing. And so it's good if you have it already built in there.
It's true. And I really wanted to be mindful of that because there's just some things that I know they're not going to be available. So we need to offer alternatives and everybody can enjoy them around the world. And that's I really wanted to do that in the book.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
Yeah, I think you've definitely accomplished that. If that was one of your goals, you nailed it. And
Yes.
yeah, can't be more excited to try that out. So
Yeah.
so take us back. So you started food blogging 15 years ago when it was still
Yes.
kind of new, really, 15 years ago.
Yes.
So what led you to start doing that? And obviously your passion for cooking and
Yep.
baking was already there. So how did
Yes.
you turn it into making it a bit of a business?
It's really interesting because obviously a huge inspiration was my mom and my culture, my upbringing, and my family. However, um, I had a different kind of background. I have two psychology degrees, and I went to uni. I did all of that jazz. I studied child psychology, and then there was an opportunity after my master's degree to travel abroad and teach English abroad in the Mediterranean. I said, well, I'm
Wow.
definitely going to do that.
Yes.
I went to Turkey and it was a lovely year of my life. I was teaching children, teaching them English. And, you know, it was just, I don't know if you've been to Turkey before or in that region, the food markets and just the hustle and bustle of all the delicious smells and aromas of all the markets is intoxicating. So what happened was during that year, obviously I had a very big passion for psychology and child psychology, but food just overtook it. And I think I was always destined to go down that road of food.
Hmm.
And when I went to all the food markets at the weekend, it just dawned on me that this is what I should be doing with my life. I need to dedicate my life to food because as much as I love being a teacher, food just overtook my life. I was waiting for the weekend, waiting for time that I could just go to the market and just be there for hours, taking it all in.
Yeah.
And then in that year, I was gifted my first digital camera. So of course, what did I do? I didn't take photos of my family. Photos of food. I took a couple of snaps of them, and I said, "Well, I'm going to take, snaps of the food." And it just took on from there. And then I opened my WordPress account, my baby blog. And
Mm.
in the beginning, actually, Niki Bakes was actually just baking. It was just sweet dishes only. And I had this thing for cupcakes. I went crazy for the first couple of years of Niki Bakes. Fun fact, it was just cupcakes,
Wow.
only cupcakes. And at that period of time, it was very dictated by what the trend was. At that time, it
Hmm.
was all about cupcakes,
Yeah.
filled cupcakes. I mean, now we just look at a cupcake and we don't think of much of it. But back then, when you opened it as a kind of cross section and it would fill out or ooze out, it was really niche and big back
Yeah.
then. So
Yeah.
I just monopolized on that and made any cupcake and shoved it with anything. tasty stuff, tasty
Yeah.
stuff.
But the
And
possibilities are endless with cupcakes.
exactly. But then
Yeah.
obviously, being who I am in nature, I couldn't just stick to one thing. I had to just branch out. And then I came back to the UK, and yeah, I just continued to kind of just continue to blog. I was very consistent. I
Yeah.
just continued. So it started from there. It started from Turkey.
So it was a real Julie and Julia moment for you there when you were like, yep, this is what I have to do. Like I
100%.
keep thinking of that moment from the movie Julie and Julia, where Julia Child and her husband are sitting there and she was like
Mm.
debating what to do with her life. And he's like, what do you like to do? And she's like, eating, you know.
I love that
Right?
Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep was really good in that, by the way. Just a
Oh,
little caveat. She was
fantastic.
amazing. But
She was
yeah,
spot on. Yes. Oop.
and that's true. That's
Yeah.
very, very true. I think I can draw lots of parallels from that. Although it was kind of difficult. I'm not going to lie, I'll be completely transparent. It was very difficult to change careers in
Mhm.
such a shift
Yes.
because it was a really big change for me, a big adjustment. So,
Yeah.
I don't want to make it into a kind of dream too much because it was hard. It was hard,
Yeah.
kind
Because
of.
how do you monetize that, right?
Yes, and it took a very long time. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, overnight I just changed careers and everything was had bunnies. And no, it wasn't. It was very difficult, and it took quite a few years for me to be able to be in the position I am now.
Right.
So yeah, but it was worth it.
Yeah,
I had to
that
do it.
was going to be my next question, but it was worth it.
I had to. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I think even when I was teaching, as much as I enjoyed it, I knew deep down something was missing.
Hmm.
I knew that this might not be what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
And
that
it's that,
is,
yeah, yeah.
well, I think that's so inspiring. I think for a lot of us, right? For a
Yeah.
lot of people out there who might be thinking of doing that career shift and making
Mm,
such a drastic change. And a lot of people do. It's not like you're not alone in switching that passion,
Hmm.
especially to baking. There are so
yeah.
many people out there that have done the exact same thing, and I'm so glad that you did that shift and that the success is on your lap now, and which is
Hi,
awesome. Which
baby.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
so
Which
exciting.
so
I
let's
love my
chat.
mom.
So let's chat about that. So 10 years in the making to
Yes.
create Niki Bakes. So take us through that process of,
Okay.
compiling all the recipes, deciding on what recipes, all of that. I know it's like it's so lovely. It really is a beautiful book.
It just means so much. It really does mean so much. I can't even, I know it's cliche to say that, but you really can't put it into words. And I'm sure you two lovely ladies will be in that position very soon. And then it will be me holding your cookbook in my hands. But
In 10
yeah,
years.
it's gonna happen.
In 10
No,
years.
no, no, not 10 years. Definitely not. I think the reason for me it took so long is because so when I came back into the UK and I decided to kind of go full throttle with it, and I had the blog, and then I eventually saved up money. I got my first Nikon DSLR camera. It was starting to get quite saturated here. The market was getting quite saturated in the UK. So if you're thinking 2015 onwards, in terms of recipe development and content creation, and in the food and baking world, it was like more and more people were getting into it. So I think the reason it took as long as it did is because I struggled a lot to find my kind of what makes me original, what makes me
Yeah.
stand out, what's
What's your
going to make
niche?
this,
Yeah.
yeah, what's your niche, what's going to make you stand out from the crowd. Because if you're doing things that's either emulating other people all the time, you're not going to stand out. And
Mhm.
I learned that the hard way, because obviously it comes into kind of your personal kind of journey. And sometimes I kind of had that imposter syndrome, or I kind of thought, am I good enough? Am I really good enough? I'm just gonna do what everyone else is doing. That got me nowhere.
Hmm.
like that got me nowhere. That got me nowhere really fast. So
Yeah.
the whole journey was kind of me just keep learning that lesson and keep coming back to what's Niki Bakes.
Yeah.
Who are you, and why do you want to do this? Like,
Yeah.
what makes you? And it's difficult. It can be quite challenging journey, because sometimes having that self reflection it takes time to really understand what you want to do, what you want to put out there. So for me, what I did in terms of being consistent is I kind of, well, one of the things about Niki Bakes is kind of writing down the pillars of what it means to me. For me, it's about being in nature and being inspired by all the lovely, beautiful, natural things we see in our world. So you probably see my kind of trademark, if you like, all of my cakes and bakes. They tend to have wild flowers or dried flowers, cornflowers, any kind of flowers I can chuck on there, I will, because I want to have that connection of food and where it's coming from.
Yes.
So another reason of kind of why the journey, the journey took, I mean, it's the journey's still ongoing now, right? We're all just, it's about the journey. It really is about the journey, not destination. And for me, kind of working with small scale companies and doing recipe development with them, that was kind of very, very important for me as well. Because I could have partnered up with large scale companies, but that's another pillar of Niki Bakes and my ethos is working with small scale companies which have an ethical focus and helping them to come and break out into the market. So that was the kind of process. I stuck with my guns.
Yeah.
Of course, throughout the journey, I kept going back, trying to copy the crowd. Got me nowhere. I said, no, I'm going to, you have to teach. So for me, it was just about learning that lesson again and again and again.
Yeah.
And
being true to yourself.
Yeah. And even now, because it's not easy, because it's so saturated now in 2024 than it was in 2014.
Oh, yes.
Now it's like all the viral food trends. And if you're not hopping on the bandwagon, it's actually kind of a negative. So it's kind of, it's so fast moving, and you have to make sure that you have to stay true to yourself, but also you have to make sure that you're, on fashion and on trend. And if you're not, why aren't you? So
you can be our influence because you're going to get all the trends before we get them. So you can tell us and then we can start them over here.
Okay. Because Europe is usually, because Europe is usually ahead, right?
And maybe, I suppose, because of the population wise, I think that's probably accurate to say. That's not to say that every food trend is good, though. I mean, me and Cristina, just before this podcast, me and Cristina were bonding over the fact what I saw, pickles being dipped in chocolate.
No. How?
I just don't understand. Don't understand.
No. The whole pickle trend.
I'm not sharing that with you. Well, I just did, but please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it.
We won't tell anyone. But pickles, though, they're having a moment right now.
I know.
Pickle
the thing
everything.
But I don't understand. Why would you think? I mean, the way I make my pickles is the marinade is like juniper berries, sometimes rosemary, smoked sea salt, and garlic. So why would I put garlic with chocolate? What like the math isn't mathing.
Wait, I thought I saw a garlic chocolate recipe.
No. There is no garlic chocolate. Please buy the book.
No garlic chocolate. No pickles. But maybe black garlic. I mean, Gavin, who we had on, near the beginning of our podcasts, he does a lot with the black garlic, which
he does.
Yeah, it has a lot of like umami kind
of. It changes. Sweet. Really,
yes, right. So
that's okay. Okay, I can get on board with that. But like fresh garlic, pungent garlic, and chocolate, it's just. I think sometimes it can be for the sake of views, and it's really sad that is kind of what society is just. I just don't like that. That's why I kind of, I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers, but I don't care about that. I care about reaching people that matter, that have the same likeness as me. I actually don't want followers that want to hop on trends like chocolate pickle, whatever pickle. Like I don't really, if I think it's something that I want to share with my audience and I know it's going to taste good, so not to waste their time, their money, and their ingredients, I'm going to share it.
Yeah. No,
Definitely.
I think that's important. And you're right. There's so many crazy trends out there right now. And that's great for those people who want to
Hmm.
uh experiment with those. That's wonderful. But like you said, ingredients are so expensive these days.
Yeah.
You don't want to waste your money. So going
Hmm.
back to those true tried and true flavors that appeal to you is so
Yes,
important. So yeah, keep doing that. And I think
I will.
there's more mass appeal there. The trends are fun and it gets people talking. I mean, here we are. We've spent what 3 minutes talking about chocolate covered pickles, which I don't think either of us, any of us, will actually try.
I don't want to waste my chocolate on pickles, and I don't want to waste my pickles on
No,
chocolate because when I'm
exactly.
Exactly.
having a specific craving for something, it's that thing, and it is never going to be chocolate covered pickles.
No.
Exactly. Exactly. It'll be a lovely grilled cheese sandwich with homemade bread from scratch
Yes, it would be,
Mm,
Christina.
yes,
with
all
pickles
day.
sliced inside. There
Oh,
you go.
Perfect. Or on the side
on the
with
Or on the
side.
side.
yeah, with a
Yes.
nice homemade tomato basil soup
Oh,
that you can dunk your grilled cheese into. Mm,
I
Mine's
ran out of
awesome.
basil yesterday. I was so upset because I made a beautiful pasta with mushrooms and onions and chicken, and I wanted the fresh basil in there. And I had to settle for shaking some dried basil
mm,
onto it. It wasn't as good, but
not the same.
And it's one of the herbs that when it's dried, it's the flavor profile is completely different. Like
completely
mint.
different. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes,
mint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
mint is just not the same. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So 10 years in the works, deciding on all your recipes, and then that step between getting all those compiled and then getting published.
Yep.
Can you share with us a little bit about that whole process and how that worked for you and maybe some of the challenges, pitfalls along the way?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll be happy to share that journey. Well, I would say after the pandemic, well, during the pandemic actually, as horrible as it was, it did also give me some time to start really volume recipe testing because we were all at home and I was at home. I got furloughed. I just had time to cook and cook and cook and for me it was a form of therapy of getting
Hmm.
through that time.
Yes.
But I suppose looking back on it now, that was actually the foundation for the book because it was the one time that I had in my life where everything was on hold
Hmm.
and I was able to just cook a recipe every day and document that and
Yeah.
have that somewhere safe. And I didn't even know that those recipes were going to go into this book. I just said to myself, I'm going to continue with building the repertoire because by that time in 2020, I had already approached a lot of publishers and I was quite fatigued because of the rejections I got.
Oh,
And
yes.
I said, I'm just gonna shelve this for a while, but I'm gonna carry on with my recipes because if there's one thing I can say my strength and one thing that I have been is consistent.
Mhm.
So that's how I started in 2020, just carried on building up on the repertoire. And then obviously when kind of everything passed and COVID passed, 2022, 2023, I said, okay, I think I'm just ready to go back into the ring again and just really push with this. And I think obviously because of the pandemic, everything went into perspective for me. And I couldn't shy away from the fact that I really wanted to have a cookbook and I really wanted it. And as sad as it was, all those because before that was 3 4 years of just constant no,
Mm,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. So, but I said, I think those no's they charged me. It made me say yes every time someone was saying no. I think deep down or subconsciously, I was saying yes, 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 and I continued on, and this time I was even more aggressive.
Mhm.
But I actually had samples of work that I was able to show, and I kind of
Yes.
teased with 5 to 10 kind of recipe that this is what you could expect. This is, you should give me a go because of X, Y, Z. I
Mhm.
should also say, I have a couple of other things under my belt. I have 2 spice blends on the market that I
mm,
have partnered with one of the food companies that I've been working with, and they are my oldest client. So they're a
Ah,
spice company, and we've been working together for best part of a decade now.
wow.
And I use that as my kind of ammunition, if you like.
mhm.
I said, I'm somebody that's been consistent in the world of food. I have two spice blends on the market. I know my flavors. I know my recipes. So I think that's kind of like a credibility stamp. And it was
100%.
for this publisher. Thankfully, it was for this publisher. And I was also, the journey as well was one of vulnerability,
Mhm.
more so than before. Because before the pandemic, I guess you could say I was younger and I was quite cocky. And I had that perspective of, the world owes me this. And
Mhm.
I, so a big old slice of humble pie, as you guys say. I had loads of humble pies, shall we say, loads of humble pies. And I said, but then after the COVID, the perspective changed, and I said, I was honest and I was vulnerable. And and thankfully, the publisher that I have now found, I said to them in my pitch, I said, "This is me. I do not have a million followers. I am not huge. I am not
Yeah.
viral in any way, but I am real. I am
Yes.
authentic.
Mhm.
And I'm somebody that hopefully is able to share recipes with and that people can make again and again. I mean, the whole tagline of this cookbook is recipes you'll
You'll
make
make
again and
again and
again.
again.
Mhm.
Because that's all I want.
Mhm.
I want to help people on their everyday lives, on their everyday journey, coming home from work. Just opening a page,
Yeah.
finding a recipe, I'm gonna do that. I can do that. 5 ingredients or less. Great.
Yeah.
So that was the journey. It was just to be really honest myself, strip back
Mhm.
kind of me and what I think I should say because it wasn't working.
Mhm.
Clearly it wasn't working. It
So
wasn't working.
Yeah.
again, like you were sharing with us before, once you
Mm.
figured out who Niki Bakes was and stuck to your guns there, that worked for
Yep.
you from a blog perspective and having that consistency and getting
Yes.
that traction with quality followers and people who love what you were putting out. And same idea with your publisher, and they probably saw that and saw
Mhm.
that
Yep.
authenticity come shining right through.
Yep.
So that's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
what a great lesson for everybody. Like,
Mhm.
be you.
Yourself.
Don't be
Yeah.
anybody else, because you're awesome just the way you are, and a lot of people
Exactly.
will appreciate that for who you are and what you bring to the table.
Mhm.
I hope so.
Literally.
Or
She's
in this
literally
case,
putting it on the
on
table.
the table, or in this beautiful cookbook, Niki Bakes
Thank you.
Kitchen.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That's all I want. That's all I want. And I know it can be quite cliche to some, or especially maybe the younger generation, when they hear that phrase, be yourself.
Mhm.
Because sometimes if you're a bit younger or you have less experience, you kind of feel like, what does that mean? And you kind
Mhm.
of feel that it could be quite patronizing. And, I am myself. I know who I am.
Mhm.
I can say now, as a 35-year-old, I had no idea who I was in my 20s. I really didn't. That's just
Mhm.
my journey.
Yeah.
And now I know so much more about myself. And it also comes from kind of acceptance because
Mhm.
another aspect of this cookbook and the journey to come to this kind of having this book in my hands right now is also owning what I don't know because there's
Yeah.
so much in the baking world that I don't know that I didn't put in here. Some of the pastries, some of the more intricate things, even turkey. I mean, as I say, my own culture, I
Mhm.
don't know half of the dishes because they're
Yeah.
so difficult and laborsome. I
Mhm.
didn't want to put that in the book.
Yeah.
So it is really about accepting your weaknesses
Mhm.
and just not trying to do everything all at once.
Yeah. Well,
What?
but that's part of what I like about it is that the people who are buying your book aren't going to be like, oh, let's find the most difficult, unusual recipe that I possibly can and attempt it. They're going to want something that's simple and straightforward.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And so you're just relating to every man,
yeah,
basically, and
Well,
saying,
it's a
okay, I know this is what you want, so here's how I do it. And I
yeah,
think that that's probably the whole part of being yourself and being relatable, right?
yeah.
You
yeah.
want to make sure that you can bring things to the table that
It's
people are going to
true.
be able to
Yeah.
use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
accessibility too,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
making it like so that when people do pick up your book that they're looking
Mm,
through going, okay, I
Mhm.
can do this. Like,
Yes.
it's not complicated. It's really about matching up those beautiful spices together and the
yeah.
cooking technique and just making it beautiful as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
mean, it really is a feast for not only your taste buds but also your eyes. And
Mhm.
and they say you eat through your eyes first, right?
Yes.
So
For
Yeah.
me, yes, absolutely. I mean, I can say, I mean, some British people might kill me for saying this, but I mean, us Brits, we're known for having a lot of beige food, beige
Yeah.
colored food. It tastes great. And
Yep.
I grew up on it. So I do agree. You have baked beans, you have your pie, you have your mash, you have your sausages, etc. That is good, but I don't think I'd want to eat that every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And and it gets boring. It gets really boring.
Yeah.
It gets really I'm a person that I have to be I have such a short attention span anyway. So let alone having beige food on the plate, I just go crazy. I have to add some spice to it, some flavor, some color, just to make, because I think for me, food is not just kind of, I suppose you could say, like a hobby or something. It is my life. It's my work. It goes beyond a passion. It's something that's just within me, and I can't have beige food every day. Can't do
Yep.
it.
It makes
Fair enough.
sense.
Beige food is fine.
It has
every
its
so
place.
often, but variety is the spice of life. So
Yes.
yeah,
I
and
would really like to find out where I can get your spice blends because I'm intrigued. Definitely.
Yes. Very, very good question.
Do you
You
sell
can.
them?
Well, I was just going to turn to this page. For those that actually want to know a bit more about spices, I do have a first couple of pages just talking about spices and where you can buy them from. And a lot of them, where you are in the world, you can actually grab them
Turn to
online on
page
Amazon.
6 in your hymnals.
Yes. Turn to page 6, please. No, and it's like a lot of the red spices, I'm sure you're going to have them in the supermarket, like garlic powder, but then there's more kind of specialized spices like Urfa chili flakes, which is like black chili flakes. Again, you can definitely find that online. Lots of different retailers. So, I just wanted to kind of put that in there that even the spices have been made to an accessible degree that you can, and once you have them in your repertoire, that's it.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's there. It's there waiting for you in your kitchen for you to revisit and use them. The spices, you can purchase them from Steenberg's directly, and I'm pretty sure they do ship across EU and maybe even further afield. So you can grab those 2 spice blends. One of them is a Korean spice blend, and the other one is a Turkish spice blend.
Awesome. I'm excited.
I love Turkish spices. Like za'atar, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So, to use
I'm not very familiar with them, so I have to learn.
Nice.
But the great thing is that the spices are not restricted to only like the Korean blend. I don't use it just for kind of Korean flavors. I actually use it even just on like scrambled eggs or like buttered toast. The spices do lend themselves to lots of different dishes, and the Turkish blend, absolutely, you can use it pretty much in anything because the base of the spices are made in a certain way. Like, if I can put another example, if you take a biryani spice, biryani is very much made for the Indian dish of biryani, whether it's got meat in it or vegetables. You can't really use it in like on scrambled eggs. I mean, you could, but it's going to taste a bit funky. But like with my spice blends, they're made that you can use them in that kind of culture's cuisine, but also do lots
universally.
of overlap.
Love it.
Definitely.
That's great.
That's
well,
very cool.
I think it's time for a game of this or that.
Oh my God. Okay.
What do you think?
I love it. Yes.
Cool.
So, Niki, are you ready for this or that?
I think so.
Awesome. All right.
All right. Starting off, the first question: sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And yet you made us a savory cookbook.
Yeah, the majority of your...
it's got sweet in it. It's got sweet. It has more savory than sweet. But
more savory.
No, it is more savory. But in my defense, I think it's because as I'm getting older, I know it's more sensible to do more savory things. But in my heart of hearts, I will always be sweet.
Yeah,
sweet. Oh,
and you are sweet. You are the sweetest.
So you guys, takes one to know one.
That's so cute. All right. We're part of a mutual admiration society.
Yay, yes. So, cooking or baking?
Baking.
Yeah.
Baking.
Okay. Again, begs the question.
I know.
Will we see a baking book from you one day?
I was going to say that's the next chapter. Hopefully,
Yes.
book 2 will just be baking. Yeah,
That'll be awesome.
go back to my roots.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, we can't wait for that one.
No. What's your favorite kind of sweet bakes though? Do you like to do cakes? You were stuck on cupcakes for a couple
Cakes.
of years.
I
Cakes.
was, I was. I think cakes,
Yeah.
cakes. Like I kind of like loaf cakes and
Mhm.
kind of tray bakes because it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy, but it feeds a crowd as well. And even
Mhm.
if you're a small family, you can keep coming back to it. Whereas
Yes.
with cookies, other things like that, I find, at least in our household, they kind of go really quickly. But tray bakes and cakes, they just tend to stay for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the effort's quite minimal. Sometimes with
Yes.
cookies, it's kind of, you got to let it chill and then you got to bring it out. It's like, but with the cake, you just chuck it in the tray, put it in, put some icing on it. That's it. Bob's your
Yeah.
uncle.
Bob's
Yeah.
your uncle.
Good. We
That's
don't,
awesome.
you're not supposed to tell everybody how easy it is to do a tray bake.
It can
Actually,
be
no,
hard.
yes, we do. We want everybody to be baking. We want you to do the
Yes.
things that are easy, that are fun, that are delicious,
Mm.
Yeah.
To be
So,
fair, though, tray bakes can be quite elaborate as well if you have like a layered kind of one or like a cinnamon streusel. If you want to go to kind of Germany and Scandinavian kind of tray
yes.
bakes, they are hard.
Yeah.
I can't touch them. They're too very hard.
That's the next journey.
Yes, it is.
All
It
right,
is.
next question. We're talking about spice level. So mild, medium, hot, or inferno?
Mild, but it used to be Inferno because
What?
I abused myself.
You burned off your taste buds?
Yes. And I can't tolerate it now. I'm a granny. I have acid reflux and I have
Oh,
all
no.
these kind of stomach problems. I can't do it. I was really
Wow.
silly.
No.
And I had so many spicy food, especially at uni.
Mhm.
I would have like Nando's, like the hottest sauce, the hottest spice. And at the time I didn't realize the damage I was doing. And now I can't tolerate anything spicy. Can't do
Wow.
Hmm.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Although, I
But
mean,
did it to myself.
it really it should be about the flavor. And I find that like my son-in-law give him all the hot sauce. Do you remember Cristina when we were in that market and I was like, I have to get all these different kinds of like flaming hot sauce for him. And I think for him it's about the heat, but it needs to be about the flavor. So
Yeah,
it can be hot, but you want to have, you want to be able to taste what you're eating.
exactly.
So it's
I agree.
balance. Always a
I
balance.
agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of balance, dessert first or save it for last?
No, save it for last because that way I can really savor it and enjoy it. If I have dessert first, I can't remember it because then I have to have the savory, and no, it has to come last where you can luxuriate in it. And I'm going to bring out my inner Nigella Lawson. I have to have it last. And I don't know if you've seen Nigella Lawson, and very, very popular British chef, but she's known for in her episodes and cooking segments of her coming downstairs in her silk robe when it's like 1 a.m., opening the fridge and grabbing a sweet treat and eating it just by the fridge. It was iconic in UK in like the late 90s. So for me, I love that. Just having it later and enjoying it.
Do you put on a silk robe?
Yes.
No.
You go down in the middle of the night, raid your fridge.
No comment.
Yeah. I do like making it an occasion. So I like the idea. We never had dessert growing up, like maybe a scoop of ice cream, but never was, you eat your dinner and then you have a dessert. But I really like to be like, okay, we've cleared the table, everything's in the wash. Now we sit down and I'm going to present this dessert to you and we can just really enjoy it and savor it. So,
and the person that's made it as well, they can get that recognition because, I think that's really important. The person that's made it with love to show them the appreciation and recognition that they deserve. Because, some sweet treats and baking, they are really hard.
Mhm.
Yeah, they can be.
And that is the best part, is actually seeing everybody's reaction to what you've just presented. And I mean, every baker, I think, has that feeling where it's like, it's like a labor of love that you've put out there. And when you can see that pure enjoyment on people's faces when they take that first bite and the oohs and ahs, it's like, so nice.
It's unmatched. It's unmatched to anything.
Yep.
And that feeling will never ever go away, however old you are. And even and my mum even says it to me now, and she's like, whenever someone tries my food and they enjoy it, I
Mhm.
still have the same feeling as when I was younger. It
Oh,
just,
Oh,
totally.
that feeling's never going to go away.
No,
yeah,
no.
no, I totally feel the same way. I hate it when it's a wedding that I'm not invited to, and then I, set up the cake and then leave, and then I sit there like for the rest of the
Yeah,
day. I'm just like, okay, is the cake okay? Did they
Yeah.
taste
yeah,
it? Did they like it? And if I don't
yeah.
hear from them within the next couple of days, I'm like, do they hate it? Do they
Yeah,
hate me? Did it all fall
exactly.
apart?
It's the not knowing. And
Yeah.
especially when you do cater for like a wedding or a big party and the day goes by and you're thinking, oh, it's 2 p.m. Are they cutting into it now?
Yes.
Are they
Yeah.
eating it now? Oh, did someone choke on it? Oh my God, did someone have an allergy? Is someone having an anaphylactic shock? Did I kill somebody?
Yes.
For me, anyway.
I haven't gotten that far yet, but now I will. So
Yeah, now thank you for that. Exactly. Now all those other thoughts will also be
thanks
running
for the
through
new
our mind.
fears there, Nikki. I appreciate it.
I'm so sorry. But I can
Okay.
just say for the record, I've not killed anybody or given anyone an allergic reaction. So
No.
that's
Yay.
just put that out there.
Let's keep that streak going for sure. Okay, do you meal prep or do you cook on the fly?
No, meal prep. I
Yeah.
have to. I have to meal prep for my own sanity, and I just can't. I can't do it. Well, for a
Yeah.
number of reasons, I can't do it. I mean, for the not so sexy reason that it's expensive. It's
Hmm.
expensive for me to be cooking on the fly all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that kind of person that can just have like meat and veg every
Hmm.
night or like
Hmm.
the same. Because obviously, there's lots of people that they
Yeah.
enjoy having the same food or similar food every night, and
Hmm.
that's okay. That's if they like to do that, they can. But
Yeah.
I'm not that person, so
Right.
I have to plan what I'm going to cook, and it has to be eclectic and different,
Hmm.
and because that's just how I enjoy my life. I enjoy my life with variety, and I can't. I need to know what I'm going to cook and buy the ingredients. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
So are
that
you
makes sense.
cooking just for yourself and your fiance?
yes, but sometimes it can be up to a family of 4 or 6 if I go back to with my folks and my sibling.
Yeah.
So it can be up to 6 people sometimes. So again, you need to kind of have some
Yeah.
preparation in
Plan
mind.
ahead.
Otherwise,
Oh, they
yeah.
must
So.
they must just be so happy to have you cook for them all the time.
Yes and no. If they would come on this podcast, they would tell you that we've had some, shall we say, delicious disasters over the years.
Yes.
Mm.
Fails.
So yeah, I mean, for another time, but I've had my fair share of fails
I'm
in the
glad to hear
kitchen.
that, actually. That's
Yes,
reassuring.
that
Oh
that is
yeah.
very reassuring for all of us. And so, can you share with us like one of your biggest baking fails?
Yes, I blew up the microwave. I blew up the microwave. Yep,
How
I
did you
blew
do
up the
that?
microwave. I mean, it's terrible and really embarrassing thing to admit that physics is not my forte, and that if you put something metal in the microwave, it's gonna blow up. So
Oh.
13-year-old me wanted to make a nice cake and from scratch. I had all the ingredients ready. I said when the parents come home from work, we're gonna have a nice baked frosted chocolate cake. I just saw Delia Smith make it because I used to rush home from school and watch Jamie Oliver, Delia Smith, Nigella. So I came home from school and I saw that she was making it and I felt inspired. I ran into the kitchen still with my school uniform on, and I luckily had all the ingredients for this amazing chocolate fudge frosted cake. I made the frosting as a 13-year-old. I made the frosting and it actually was okay. It didn't split, nothing. That was ready and it was ready to go. I popped the cake into a metal mold. I make the sponge cake. I put it all in. I grease it and everything with greaseproof paper. I do all of the
You
things.
did it all right.
And then I popped in the microwave and I came and sat down because the kitchen was a separate room from the living room. I sat down and I think after 10, 15 seconds, just barely sitting down on the sofa, I hear a loud explosion. I thought a bomb went off. I just jumped up from my seat, heart in my throat. And in 15 minutes, the parents are going to come home.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
didn't. I'm creeping into the kitchen. I didn't because you think all sorts of crazy things when you're 13, like is someone in the house or did someone break in? Or
Mhm.
I just go around the corner and I see the batter has is on the wall, has splattered on the fridge. All the glass of the window has exploded out and
Oh,
it's on the floor. And I have 15 minutes to kind of get this cleaned up so they wouldn't understand that I did this. Of course, I was irrational and stupid. I cut myself on the glass. I took the microwave out of the plug. No, hang on, it gets even better.
Oh my
I
gosh.
had them in my. It gets even better than this. I had a very long garden in my house that I grew up in. I took the microwave and it was like a really big one from like the early 2000s. You know, those clunky ones, those big,
Mm-hmm.
heavy ones. I dragged it by the cord. I'm 13. I've cut myself. I'm covered in chocolate batter, flour, and the remnants of everything, trying to scoop up the ceiling with the batter. I take it to the garden and I start digging and I try to bury the
Very.
bury the microwave. And I thought they won't notice. They won't notice that this big, clunky, huge white machinery is not in the kitchen. And the cord was still sticking out, by the way. It was a white microwave. I come back, I sit down and get changed. I try to remove, and I don't know how miraculously I managed to clean up, pretty well.
It's impressive.
In 15 minutes.
I know. And all the while, half buried microwave. Anyway, my parents come home. And the first thing they say to me when they see me, because they know me very well, is, "What did you do?" I said nothing. Nothing. I made you frosting.
I made you frosting.
I made you frosting. I said, it's a new thing that they're doing at the moment. Frosting in the fridge, and you can have it. Do you want some?
By the spoonful, right?
Like, what's wrong with you? And then Dad, I don't know how, he managed to investigate and he just screamed and shouted and he said, "Niki!" And he found the microwave. So that was my demise. I was grounded for a month.
And you still went back and baked more after that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
you know,
we laugh about it now. I think apparently what happened, my brother told me, when I got grounded and I got sent upstairs, apparently they were laughing so much. They were both crying of laughter, apparently.
Okay, well, it's good that they found it funny. I mean, when I drove my dad's car over logging roads when I was 18 years old and not only lost the muffler, but the entire system underneath the car, I'm still not allowed to drive his car. I'm almost 50 and he will not lend me his car. But your parents let you bake again. So that's pretty good.
I begged them.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, this is what I was afraid of when Steve Levitt told us you can put a stainless steel bowl in the microwave. Shocked us to melt chocolate, and guess what? I've done it now and it works.
It does work.
Don't let it touch the sides. I have to say that. But when he said this is the best way to temper chocolate, stainless steel bowl in the microwave, our heads just about exploded.
Yep.
Seriously.
I mean, for personal reasons, I'm never going to try that. I'll take his word for it.
Because you have enough trauma.
You've been scarred for life on that one.
PTSD.
I think in this lifetime, I'm finished with the microwave and metal.
So, I mean,
now do you microwave at all?
Cake in the microwave anyway.
No. See, I think because of the emergence of the lovely air fryer, don't really use the microwave. Yeah. And before that, I don't know. I'm quite traditional. I like my oven. I love my oven, and I used to have a mini oven as well when I was in my 20s. And then the air fryer came and the rest is history. But I just don't really. Maybe the microwave, that incident did actually just traumatize me for life, and I've never looked at one since. Maybe that's a reason, but I think for me,
it's reasonable.
Yeah.
So because you're getting married soon.
Yep.
Right? A few weeks to go. Yay, congratulations.
Thank you.
If anybody that's going to be attending Niki and Alex's wedding is watching, no microwave.
No.
It's not on the registry.
Not on the registry.
No, thank you. I love you, but please, if you're watching this, no microwave, please.
That is
all
awesome.
right. All right. Next question, Cristina.
Okay. Breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, or supper?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Supper.
That's your favorite?
I would say supper. Yeah, I would say so. But I think it's because of the whole intrinsic nature of supper, which what it symbolizes is everyone coming together, or the person that you're with. You know, you have that sacred time of how was your day? How was everything? So definitely supper. Definitely.
Yeah. I like supper too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the whole idea of all coming together. Even when I just go over to Christina's house, which is, I mean, I have to take a ferry to get there, and um, but it feels like an occasion when we sit down at the table together. And as we have established, I really like making it like an occasion. We have our
Yeah.
set out the tableware and choose a drink, and we
Yeah.
even if
Exactly.
it's just us picking up taco fino, which is
Exactly.
you need to come and visit us and get some taco fino.
That's gonna happen. Believe me, I
Yes.
know. If anything has shown me in this life, if you really can think about it hard enough, you can make it work. And I
Yes.
am going to do that. So
Yes.
mark my words, I am going to do that. I'm going to come
Can't
over and
wait.
we're going to have taco fina,
Taco
Fino.
fino.
Yeah.
Yes.
fino taco. Sorry, taco fino.
There's
Yes, I'm gonna.
a place up island called Tofino, and they started a food truck there, Taco Fino, and it was featured on the Food Network and has exploded and now has gotten off our island and is on the mainland, which is where Christina lives. And
Amazing.
yeah, so good.
Yeah. And
So,
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Okay,
have the best
Anyway.
that's
guacamole.
cool. No, it's cool. It's
It's
cool.
really good.
Yeah.
Next question. Cardamom or cinnamon?
Oh, cardamom, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like them together.
Yeah, cardamom, just because there's something so incredibly special about it. Not that cinnamon isn't, but for me, I can get quite sick of cinnamon quite quickly because it can be quite a punchy spice, and again, because of my whole acid problem, I can't have too much cinnamon because it makes me burns my throat. So, but cardamom is really aromatic but cooling at the same time.
I know.
It's like, for me, it's like a godsend because I'm able to enjoy something aromatic and in the spice world where it doesn't backfire on me. So yeah, cardamom all day, every day.
The easy answer right there.
Yes. It's such a beautiful spice.
It is.
Yes.
Cookbook or published recipes?
Is that a trick question? Because I technically have both.
I know.
I can't.
Which do you prefer?
I suppose the rational answer should be published recipes because you can reach more people with different formats and different media outlets. So that's the rational answer and what I should say, but I have to say cookbook because that's what my heart is telling me and that's what I should lead with. And the great thing I should have also mentioned that the cookbook is also available digitally. So actually everybody around the world can get it. It is available for download.
Yes.
So cookbook actually. Yeah.
Okay. You can reach everybody with it.
You really can.
Yeah. Well, you have simple recipes in the book for your public. Turkish recipes are very complex. So simple recipes or complex techniques and processes, which do you prefer?
Oh God. Simple recipes. Now that I'm getting older, simple recipes. I mean, I sound like a granny, but I can't. But the thing is, I take it one step further. Simple recipes, but with my twist on it.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
It
complex
could be
for everyone else.
No. Not at all. I mean, in terms of making it simple, but adding the Turkish blend. So making it my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still simple because I don't have time. Unfortunately, unless it's for a client, then I have all the time in the world.
Yeah. I think we're all kind of in that same boat. So that's why I think everybody will really appreciate this cookbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope so. Thank you.
All right. That leads us to the last this or that question.
I don't know if she's going to be able to answer this one.
No, right? Because Brits, I don't know if butter tarts, are they a thing?
Tat didn't know what it was.
No, Tat didn't. But butter tarts.
Doesn't know what it.
And okay, so any tarts in general, or this could be it could be an overall in your baking. Raisins or no raisins?
Raisins.
Yeah.
Raisins. I think
send you the butter tart recipe. You can
please do. Absolutely. I think raisins have had a bad reputation, especially here in the UK. Like we have an actual. I know. Maybe you've heard of it or not. But there is like a dessert called the spotted dick, and it has actual like raisins in it. Doesn't look very appealing. I don't like it either. I've had it once, and that was more than enough. And I think sometimes some recipes they call for raisins that many people can be quite polarizing about that recipe, like coronation chicken. Coronation chicken has raisins in it.
Yeah,
I love it because it's got curry powder in it. It's very very nice.
And the curry powder and raisins together are actually really good. Yeah.
It's crazy good. It's crazy good. But some
Mhm.
people hate it. It's like Marmite, you know, Vegemite,
Yes,
Marmite.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
like polarizing. But I think if you use it in the right way, it can be marvelous, like
Hmm.
carrot cake.
And that's a fun challenge to be
Yeah,
able to figure out, okay, how can we make this work? Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. No, so
Yes.
yeah, definitely in.
Okay, so the butter tart question is asked here on the Great Canadian Baking Show. Every season they ask all the bakers, and so we have made that our traditional last this or that question because you're right. It's one of those ones that is very polarizing, and we
Yeah,
like to kind of bring out a different polarizing ingredient every week and ask people, okay, so what's your take on this? But the raisins in butter tarts, raisins or no raisins, question is always kind of the big question.
I
So
see.
I guess I'm a
Okay,
raisin person. Christina is
okay.
a definitely no raisins, although she likes currants. I'm going to say that before she
I do
says
love currants.
it. She likes currants in her butter
Ooh.
tarts.
Mhm.
No,
So
Mhm.
what's the traditional? It should be in there. The traditional, it should be in there.
this is the question.
That's
Oh, right.
that is a
Okay.
very good question. I think it was like a last minute addition because I think
So good with raisins.
they're
So
called
good.
butter tarts, not raisin
We
tarts.
actually called them raisin tarts growing up.
Well, how about this? To make you both happy, I'll make one with raisins and one without raisins, and then I can do the ultimate
Perfect.
taste
Yep.
test.
Yeah, we will
Okay.
send you each. We'll each send you our recipe.
Yep.
Please do. I would be so grateful.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that
That
sounds
is
like a great
wonderful.
idea. All
And
right.
one of the things that that you do in your book very, very well is you have Niki's top tips with every single recipe that you do. And they're fabulous. There's so many great ideas there in terms of make ahead or, you know, switching things out or different things like that, different processes that make it a little bit easier to do or take
Yeah.
the recipe to that next level. Well, we
Mhm.
want to know from you what your Niki's baking scrap top tip is for all of our listeners.
I would say read and reread the recipe again
Mm.
because learn from my mistakes. Just read and reread because there's always something crucial you might miss and it changes the whole recipe or ruins the recipe. I
Mm,
mean, because I've grown up always rushing with things, and that's something a big thing that I'm working on is trying to not rush through everything
mhm.
all the time. And when
Yeah.
it comes to a recipe, I get overexcited sometimes when it's something I really want to make, and I forget to read like the crucial step of I don't know, not chilling it enough or not
Mhm.
chilling it at all, and it comes out into a big puddle or a big, and it's just like, yeah, I should have done that. Just
Yeah.
read the recipe, reread the recipe, and dedicate your time to it.
Mhm.
And try to be. I know it's more than one tip, but they all kind of tie in together
Yeah.
because by taking your time with something, you're also going to be present, and you're not going
Yeah.
to think about anything else. You're going to
Yes.
think just about the recipe, and yeah, just
Yeah.
just do that. It's a very boring tip. I'm sorry.
But
No.
it's an essential tip. And I think it's important. I mean, especially when it comes to people who are just getting started in baking or cooking, we don't
Mm,
want them to have these things that cause them to be frustrated. You know, if it doesn't work out the first time you try a recipe, it can be very frustrating and it can be
Mhm.
demeaning and make you not want to try again.
yes,
So
off-putting. Yeah.
yeah, so if we give those kinds of tips right from the start and
Mm-hmm.
be encouraging and just say, you know, the read the reading is a really important part of it because you don't want to miss one of those crucial steps. We can just,
Yeah.
you know, kind of head that off at the pass as much as we can. So,
Yeah. And
100%.
also a top tip for any bakers who find themselves in, you know, baking show tents or pavilions or
mm.
sheds or
Yes,
things like that from
that's
Yes,
Bake
true.
Off
That's
or
read
true.
the
the
recipe.
Canadian
Speaking of
Baking
which,
Show
are
during
you
the
a
technical.
fan of British Bake Off? Okay, good.
I am. I am an oh my God. I live, eat and breathe the show. Whenever it comes on, it's just so nostalgic now for
Yes.
me and full of excitement. And every year I always say to myself, will it be as exciting next year? Will I
Mhm.
be? And the answer is I'm excited, if not more excited, because
Yes.
I've had the history of it, of watching it all these years.
Yes.
And every year it's comforting. It's something,
Yeah.
it's a us as humans, if anything, I can draw from my psychology degrees. The one thing I understand and realize is that we are creatures of habit and we like certainty. And when we watch such shows, it provides that anchor of certainty. And kind of nostalgic and pleasant, homely memories.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love
That's
it. I
I
love it.
love to hear that. That's fantastic. And that's how we feel watching I mean, definitely watching British, but also watching the Canadian one. It was
Yes.
so much like Bake Off that it was like, oh yes, here we are, we're home.
Mm.
So we'd love to
Yeah.
find a way to get that to you so you can also see it because the new season is going to be coming up very shortly of
Yeah, I've been
Canadian.
trying to find a way, but anytime I've kind of clicked on a Canadian channel, it just says it's not available in your area.
Yeah.
You can't watch it. So I'll
We'll
keep
see,
trying.
we'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully one day soon we'll
Some
be able
sneaky
to have
way.
better access for all of
Yeah.
them, actually. So
Yeah.
yeah. I think there should be better connections
There
across the
should
pond
be.
because we can learn from each other, and I find it quite interesting. Like I just learned something new, the
Yeah.
butter tart. I had no idea until this day that such a thing existed. So
Awesome.
it's great.
well, we will make sure that we send over our respective recipes
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
and maybe you can start a new trend in the UK with butter tarts.
I
Yes.
will, and I'll
And
be
I
sure to tag both of you.
don't plan on making a spotted dick anytime soon, but maybe a banoffee pie would be okay.
Okay, yeah, banoffee pie. I can
For
get
myself.
behind that. Yeah. Oh,
Sounds
okay.
good.
Sure. I'm taking requests. Yes, that's a good
Okay,
idea.
excellent.
That's awesome. Well, we
Thank
so
you.
look forward to seeing what's next for you, Niki. I can't be more excited for a pure baking book from you. So we will keep our eyes open and follow Niki on Instagram, Niki Bakes on
Okay.
Instagram, and beautiful recipes that you share actually pretty much daily.
Mhm.
Great, beautiful photography, vibrant colors. It's such a again a feast for the eyes. Your Instagram page. So
Yes.
Thank you, Christina. That means so much. And yeah, I would love lots of people to join the journey and follow and learn and be
Yes.
inspired. That's all I want. That's literally
Perfect.
all I want.
Well,
yeah,
we're
sounds
so
good.
grateful that we came and got in touch with you. You got in touch with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, let's join.
A
And
final woo!
Yes.
thank you so much, Niki.
Thank
We
you.
are
Thank you.
so excited to have had you here today, and we look forward to talking with you again soon.
Oh yes. Thank you so much, lovely ladies.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Yeah, you as
Have a
well.
great
Thanks,
day.
Niki. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was really nice. I was really glad we got the chance to talk to Niki.
Me too. What a sweetheart. And she's so calm right now, considering she's getting married in a few weeks.
I know.
And, just wonderful for her to take that time to chat with us about her
Yes.
beautiful new cookbook.
Yes, I'm
And
so excited about it. Yes, her cookbook is beautiful. Have you baked anything out of it or cooked anything out of it?
Not yet, because mine was delayed coming here for some
yeah?
reason. Who knows? So I actually only got it late last week, but I am hoping to get in there and bake some stuff. She's
Yeah.
got, I mean, some of the cooking stuff is,
I know.
I'm really looking forward to that.
I mean,
but
we like savory stuff. We like to eat.
we totally
savory.
do.
Yeah.
Right? Sweet and savory. And she's got some really lovely, like sweet potato, honeyed Brussels and sweet potatoes. Like
Yeah.
that's totally my jam. Or I think there's a Turkish golden hummus that she's got on
Ooh,
there, a tabbouleh,
bruschetta.
which I love.
Yes.
Roasted cherries on burrata toast. I'm all over that one. The sweet corn feta and spring
Yeah.
onion pancakes. Be making those pretty soon.
Caramelized onion hummus.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. All the
That is
yeses
yummy.
to that one. And then on the sweet side, I am super excited. There's a couple on there that I think would be really awesome. Lemon and yuzu bunt.
Oh, yeah, that
Mhm.
sounds really, really good. If I could ever
And-
find yuzu.
I've got some yuzu juice that I picked up when I was in Japan. So hopefully I've got enough of that to
Yeah.
put in the cake. I didn't see how much we needed for that one. But the other one that I actually saw that was really interesting, but I might do a variation on it, Niki's clementine polenta and cardamom cake. And I would switch out the clementine for lemons probably, because Erwin's allergic to oranges.
Oh, yeah.
So
You can't
yeah.
do that.
So but
Yeah,
I'm thinking that might be really nice with the lemon, polenta,
Yeah.
and the cardamom.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Did you see the caramelized garlic confit baked brie?
Yes. Yes,
Oh
I
my
did.
gosh.
That looks to die for,
Oh, it looks so good.
with a nice freshly baked baguette that you can just dip in there, or maybe make some Turkish bread.
Mhm. So good. And I love that she's putting in those top tips on every
I
page.
know.
Be
It
like,
is
hey,
awesome.
do this instead, or you could do this.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
so excited about that book. I
Yeah.
was very, very thrilled. It's always fun when it's somebody that you know who is putting something out and you get to hold it in your hands and be like, look what my friend made, you know? It's kind
I
of
know. We
crazy.
know her. We
We
know
know her.
her.
That came out of her brain. Yeah, she did an amazing job with it. So, yeah,
She totally did.
she really
So
did.
so thrilled that we got an opportunity to chat with her,
Yeah.
and she's so lovely. Like
Yeah.
what a again, such a gem. We're
And
so
she's
lucky that we
enthusiastic. Yeah. Yeah.
right
Yeah. We're
fun
lucky to
and
have
yeah.
her in our lives.
We are. We're lucky to have all of our incredible guests that we've had to this date. And
Mhm.
we have so many other really, really cool ones coming up
I know.
that are happy to do this with us. And
Mhm.
obviously, we couldn't do this without them. And I'm just so grateful. And I'm
Yeah.
so thrilled that, you know, that we get to have these great
Mhm.
conversations with everybody. And
What a
so,
life, man.
how lucky.
I
Yeah,
know.
just
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah.
Grateful.
Me too. Really grateful. Grateful for you.
Grateful for you, my friend.
Thanks
I
for
hope you
being here.
have. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for
there you
being
go.
here. And thank you for all the editing that you do. Because I know when we have some technical challenges during the recordings that obviously
Mhm.
we very rarely see or hear on the actual recording, all the work that you do to make the podcast as clean as possible. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
all of that. That's an incredible amount of work.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm always hopeful when we start with another one that I'm going to be able to make it worthy of putting on the on YouTube or on the streaming services. So, fingers crossed, here we go again.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed for smooth editing.
Smooth
And
editing. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
cool.
Have a
Well,
great
thank you,
rest
my
of your day.
friend. You too. Happy
Thank you.
baking.
Happy baking to you. Happy baking to all of you. Thank you for being here with us. We couldn't do it without you. Well, we
Thank you.
could, but nobody would be paying any attention to it, so it wouldn't matter.
Hope. Yeah.
Happy baking. Bye.